Hey you guys, Gina here and welcome back to my channel. So if you guys didn't know, I am on a low carb journey. So I've been on this recommitted low carb journey for the past 42 days, something around there. So I recently hosted Friendsgiving over at my house. So I had a new challenge of making everything low carb and keto friendly. So I'm going to take you guys along with me in my cook with me of everything I prepared for Friendsgiving. So let's go ahead and hop into it. And I am actually using the Southern Keto Cookbook. So that's where I got most of my recipes. I tweaked a few things here and there, but I got the basic foundation of these recipes from that cookbook. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So the first thing on my list are keto drop biscuits. So what you're going to need is some salted butter, sour cream, almond flour, baking powder, salt, and some eggs. So, I am using the Southern Keto Cookbook, so if you guys want to pick that up, I have it linked below. So with these drop biscuits, what you want to do is combine your almond flour, your baking powder, and your salt. So you want to add all of your dry ingredients together first and mix everything around. And then in a separate bowl, you're going to add your eggs. And then you're also going to add your sour cream. Now, I have made this recipe so many times and I have learned that I need to measure out my sour cream because I have still been trying to work this recipe to make it perfect. So I measure my sour cream out. And then you also want to add in some melted butter as well. Stir all of the wet ingredients together, and then you're going to slowly add in your dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. All right, so on a lined cookie sheet with parchment paper, just go ahead and drop your biscuits on the cookie sheet. Now, I doubled my recipe, so the actual recipe in the cookbook makes 10, but I doubled everything. So I made a total of 20, and then you're going to cook these on 400 for 10 minutes, and this is what they look like. And the leftover drop biscuits, I actually used this morning to make Egg McMuffin type breakfast sandwiches. So good. Okay, so who says you can't have pie when you're on a low carb lifestyle? So I am making the pumpkin pie from the Southern Keto Cookbook. So what you're going to need is a can of pumpkin. You're going to need 2 eggs. And I have found that Trader Joe's pumpkin is the best that I've ever tried. And then I'm also adding in some pumpkin pie spice. You also want to add some erythritol sweetener. I actually added more than I should have, so it came out really sweet by accident. Then you want to stir everything together, and then you're going to add a cup of heavy cream as well, and you want to go ahead and mix this guy. I actually made this the night before, and I had it chilled in the fridge, and then the following day I went ahead and made my crust. So this is the pumpkin pie filling. Okay, so now it's time to make the pie crust. So I'm adding some almond flour. I believe it was about 1 1/4 of almond flour. And then you want to add 4 tablespoons of cold salted butter. So, and then you also want to add a tablespoon of erythritol. You don't have to add this, but if you want your pie crust to be a little sweet, just add a little erythritol. And then you want to cube up your butter, and then you're going to go ahead and use your fork to go ahead and mix your almond flour with your butter. But I actually ended up just mixing this by hand because I found that it worked a lot better. And then you're going to add 2 tablespoons of cold water, roll it up in a dough, put it in a Ziploc bag, and this is going to be placed in the fridge for 30 minutes. All right, so now that the dough is chilled, I am spraying a pie tin with some olive oil spray. You can use butter spray, whatever. And then you just want to go ahead and press your crust into your pie tin. So I found that this time around making this recipe, it was a lot easier. I forgot to add the water in the first time I did it. So the second time I tried this recipe, it came out perfect. And then you want to go ahead and fork across the whole entire pie so you have some air. I'm not exactly sure why you need to do this, but you need to do it. And then you're going to go ahead and put this in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. It needs to be 80% baked, and then you're going to add your pumpkin pie filling into the pie tin, and then you're going to pop it back into the oven for 45 to 50 minutes. And if it comes out of the oven a little watery, don't worry about it because it needs to cool completely, and it does thicken as it's continuing to cool. So this was the final product, and you guys, so good. Highly recommend. All right, guys, it is bird time. So if you do not like poultry, then don't watch this video. If you're vegan, exit out right now. So I am just giving my turkey a really nice rinse over, rinsing the inside cavity, outside cavity. Getting the neck bone out was like a pain in the butt, but we did it. And then I'm using the dry brine rub seasoning from Williams-Sonoma. You guys, you have to try this. This is the best turkey seasoning I have ever had in my life. And I actually got the recommendation from my boss's wife when I was a paralegal and worked in a law firm. His wife recommended this to me, and it was the first Thanksgiving Chris and I were doing together, so I really wanted to impress Chris, and I got the secret from my boss's wife. It's the dry rub from Williams-Sonoma. You guys, it's the best $16 you will ever spend. I will have this linked for you guys below. I highly recommend you order it because it does sell out super quick. So I went ahead and had it brine overnight. So I'm just rinsing the brine off inside and outside. The only way I'll actually eat turkey is using this brine seasoning. Any other time, I'm really not a fan of turkey. Now we need to go ahead and give the turkey a nice butter bath because that is what's going to give you that crispy brown skin. So that's what I'm doing. And if you didn't know, you're not supposed to put butter down the drain because clogs the drain. So just FYI, don't do that. So I'm just massaging the bird with a bunch of butter, and this was one of the grossest parts, to be honest with you. It was really disgusting. Alrighty, and then the bird is going into the browning bag. If you guys are not using a browning bag, you need to because it cuts the time down significantly. This was a 22-pound turkey, and it only took 3 hours to bake. So get a browning bag, pay the money. It's definitely worth it. And I added some almond flour into the bag so it didn't explode. And there we have it, the beautiful, beautiful turkey. Alrighty, so now we're going to do a side dish. So I air fried a whole package of bacon. So I air fry on 400 degrees for about 10 to 11 minutes. And then it was time to chop up some radishes for a super easy dish of bacon and radishes. There's nothing like a cutting board full of crisp bacon. Oh my freaking goodness. It was so hard not to eat all of this bacon, but I am just dicing up the bacon, and then I added some avocado oil to my skillet and went ahead and just pan fried the radishes with the bacon. I added some salt and pepper for some taste, and this was the final product. And you guys, it came out so good. So much better than potatoes, so much better. So now last recipe is some cauliflower rice. So I went ahead and melted a half a stick of butter, or maybe it was a full stick of butter, I'm not sure. And then I added 2 12-ounce bags of cauliflower rice. So I went ahead and let that melt and defrost and cook with the butter. I added some salt and pepper, and then I also added a cup of mild shredded cheddar cheese. And then I wanted to make this even more like creamy and decadent, so I went ahead and added some cream cheese. I did 4 ounces of cream cheese, let everything melt, and it was so freaking good, especially adding on a lot of pepper
and a little bit of salt. And again, this is another alternative for mashed potatoes, and I thought it came out really good. It reminded me of like scalloped potatoes almost, but not really scalloped potatoes, but it kind of gave me that feel with the cheese. So so good, you guys.
So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. So just an FYI, do not put a plastic tray in the oven, because that's exactly what I did, and my whole entire house was full of smoke and it smelled like burning plastic. So please don't do that, because my keto turkey almost burnt my house down. So don't do that. So I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and let me know if you are going to try any of these recipes, and I will be back with a how you can use your leftover turkey video. So I have a ton of leftover turkey currently in my fridge right now, so I'm just going to be sharing with you guys how you can use that turkey, other than just making turkey sandwiches. So make sure you subscribe to my channel if you are not already, and I will talk to you guys all later, and happy early Thanksgiving to everyone. Bye guys.